Welcome back. We're still going on with the Freelancer Summit 2022, second edition. And I'm here with amazing sister Vannessa Da Costa and brother Miles Anderson. They're both joining from the United States. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. So today we have this topic that I think personally is amazing because, you know, as an early career professional, you just finished school, you're about to finish school. The next thing on your mind is, how do I land these opportunities? How do I get a job? How do I get paid? So our topic is how to successfully build a network, land opportunities, and jumpstart your career as a student or early career professional. So I'm going to let Vannessa introduce herself and Miles introduce himself as well as to talk about the various things that they're doing already. And then, we get on into the discussion. Vannessa.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tangai. Hi, everyone. My name's Vannessa Chilombo Da Costa, and I am currently based in the DC area. Been here for about almost 2 years now. And so I do a couple of different things in my 9 to 5 on PTO this week. So nice little break. I'm a global health data analyst. I work for a US government agency called USAID, in a lot of countries in the diaspora. So I work specifically in the areas of HIV/AIDS, crunching numbers, communicating data, visualizing data. That's really my niche. But when I'm not doing that, and really how I got connected to this AfriBlocks platform, I am a career coach and consultant. So I have a business, Chilombo Global Career Services, that really focuses on helping students and professionals in public health, international development, and healthcare navigate careers and land their dream jobs. And then more recently, I decided to kind of bridge my two interests in entrepreneurship as well as data to expand my business to also include data consulting. So I now have a team of consultants, and we work with clients to help them with their data needs, whether it's developing a strategy and analysis, a data visualization tool. That's kind of what I work on. So yeah, I really love to work at the intersection of helping people with their careers, working with students and professionals, and that's a bit about me. Yes.
Thank you, Miles.
Excellent. First, I just want to say thank you so much to Tangi and AfriBlocks for just allowing me to be here and to just, be able to express myself on this platform. So my name is Miles Henderson, and I'm the founder of True Culture University. TCU is a Pan-African collegiate platform that aims to connect Black college students all over the world. We currently have international student chapters from Brazil, Ethiopia, Kenya, Senegal, Ghana, as well as some schools in the US as well. So we're very much pushing forward connectivity of Black college students, wherever they may be at. Additionally, I'm also a member of the Marcus Garvey Bronze Coordinating Committee. And essentially, this is a committee where we're working to create a statue of Marcus Garvey at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So I'm actually living in between the US and Ethiopia right now. And a lot of the work that I do is based in Addis Ababa. And I think the third thing that I will say is we're also working on a mobile platform called Portal that will aim to connect Black college students wherever they are at into a social media platform. So really amping up that network building and connectivity. So I think, very much in alignment with what this panel is looking to accomplish.
Great. Thank you so much for the intros, guys. I guess I'll just jump into my first question, which is to Miles. All of us on the call, we met at some point. I think I met Miles at Africa Union, Paja. Then I met Vannessa through Connect Akudzwe. So that's the network. That's how you meet people. And sometimes, you meet someone today and then you actually get to work together 3 months later or a year or 2 years. But the important thing is to connect. So the question to Miles I have is, to our listeners, how best or how do you successfully build a global network?
Okay, excellent. So if you don't mind, I know we met when we were kind of young professionals, but I would like to actually take it a step back, even as a student, and how you can begin to build your global network there. My biggest single piece of advice with regards to building a global network: study abroad, point blank period, so at the university level, most of the programs that are there, they have some type of program that allows you to study abroad. Once you study abroad, that gives you access not only to a network within that country, but oftentimes you're there with other students that have studied abroad from other parts of the world as well. So for example, I studied abroad in Ghana my senior year of college, undergraduate. Even though I was there in Ghana, I stayed at the student hostel, the international student hostel, had students from Korea, had students from China, had students from Nigeria, had students, from Dutchland, all over the world, all in this one place, in this one location. And that was really one of my first network amplifying experience. So what I will always uplift is that for anyone to really amp your network is to study abroad. And I would say that's kind of really a great first step.
That's great. Actually, that takes me to the next question to Vannessa, because I know the work that you do with Chilombo Global Career Services. So the question to you is how to find those opportunities, because now you have these networks, but you know the person. The next step is to figure out how you connect with what they're doing and what you're doing, and how to to take that into the next step.
Yes, great question. And I definitely agree with studying abroad. Funny thing is, I didn't study abroad while in school, but I ended up doing the Peace Corps and living and working abroad for most of my career. So at some point, you've got to get in there, get out on both sides, whether you're US based or living in other countries. But yeah, to follow up on how to do that. So we're very much in a virtual environment now, more so than ever. So one thing that I always say is don't just look and, kind of lurk, as a lot of us may do, especially in LinkedIn, online, all of these forums or groups that we're on, whether it's Facebook and many different network groupings out there, but engage, right? When you see things of interest, follow up with people about opportunities, reach out. That elevator pitch that I love to talk to people about is not just for when you are in an interview and they're asking you to tell me about yourself. Do that in as many forums as you possibly can. As someone who's both done that proactively and had to learn to do that, and someone who receives messages from people who are either checking my profile, the ones who reach out, who ask questions are the ones that I always remember when I have, whether it's a referral at my job. Recently we're hiring interns, and I was able to provide some referrals to people who are interested in being an intern on my team, or whether it's just a position that a recruiter reached out to me about, I'm not interested, but I want to pass it along to my network. So engaging with people, following up with people, whether they're in the industry of interest that you're in, or maybe this is not where I am now, but I would want to hear more about this organization, definitely do that. And because, again, we are in a virtual environment, it's a bit easier to do, especially if you're an introvert like me, where, we're not in as many in-person events as we like to be. Now it's increasingly coming up again, but definitely use your network, engage with others. And the last thing I'll say is, right, it's a two-way street. So you don't want to just ask, but also contribute. No matter where you are in your career, whether you're a student, early career professional, you have something to contribute. And one thing that I always recommend to clients and colleagues, and something that I've started to do and still need to do a bit more, is share what your expertise is. Write an article on LinkedIn, share what you're doing, what you've learned, whether it's in your course or in something that you're doing on the side. Because actually one thing I learned today from having a strategy session with someone is also, branding yourself as a thought leader, even if you're increasingly, you're new to that industry, can also help with visibility and finding opportunities and people reaching out to you. So one part of that is really that networking, engaging, and of course, pitching yourself. I don't want to say selling yourself, but it somewhat is, so that you can have opportunities that are not just through the grapevine of websites, but also directly connected to people who may be offering those opportunities.
Yeah, that's really true. Because when we were at college, or when I was at college, I think one mistake that I made was I did not look for enough resources. I did not, do enough research to say, okay, I'm looking for probably maybe say a scholarship where do I get this, and things like that. So my question to Miles is, with I know you're doing amazing work with True Culture University. So what resources do you currently have, or do you offer, or other platforms you'd recommend students to say, I'll take a look at this. This is something that will, change your career. This is something that will, give you another direction for the better.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll kind of approach that in two ways, and I'll answer the latter first. And this is something I'm just kind of coming into now at this point in, my professional, career. Is to really leverage LinkedIn. I didn't realize how powerful of a tool LinkedIn was until I got on there and I started engaging. And I was, in my mind, I was like, wow, LinkedIn is popping. I was like, is this the most, fun social network that we have right now? But I don't know what if it is, if you're in that space to where you kind of want to climb, you want to make stuff happen. I think LinkedIn can do a lot for you, especially as someone who's just getting into the workforce. So that'd be my first kind of suggestion, is to build out that profile, get it sharp, get it clean as early as possible, because you don't know who is out there. The second part with regards to any of the resources that TCU offers is we offer a multitude of resources, primarily with, how do you say, sorry, I had a call coming through. It's distracting me. But so, but primarily with regards to really history, so there's a lot of historical resources that we have there, different lecturers that we have linked. We also have the opportunity, if we're going abroad, so we actually have a directory of multitude, I believe over 10 abroad organizations, on our website as well. We have different, student articles that have been created, so they can go see different articles that have been created by different students and their perspectives. We also have scholarship subscription, so students can actually engage in, they can pay a monthly fee and they can get access to all the scholarships that are relevant to them, every month. As well. So we have a lot of really cool stuff there, in addition to handbooks, about different history as well. So there's so much on there. So it's kind of hard for me to rattle it off. But
what's the name of the website so, people can visit?
Sure. So I'll give you the long form and I'll give you the short form. So you have truecultureuniversity.com. That will take you there. And then also TCU dash, like the actual dash portal.com will take you there as well. And if you just click on resources, that will take you down all the different resources that we have there and available for you.
Perfect. The interesting thing with Vannessa is there was a point I just started to see data analysis in your bio. I was like, okay, when did that happen? But my question to you is about emerging roles. There are roles that are coming up. Talk about data analysis, data scientist, artificial intelligence, machine learning. How does one jumpstart into those roles? Because those are the roles that are on demand. Those are the roles that are, big companies, big tech are looking for. So how does one jumpstart? Where do I start? Because someone is like, I did, maybe I did accounting or I did mechanical engineering. How do I just switch to that? But I think it's possible. How do people do that?
Yes, great question. And something that I love talking about because it is that hot topic. If either of you follow Black Tech Twitter, you probably see stuff about this literally every second of the day. But first thing I'll say is I agree with you. You don't need to have, an extensive educational background or a degree in something data related, a data degree, an epidemiology degree, whatever it may be, to jumpstart your career in this area. There's so many people who've done it in different ways. So yes, you can traditionally have a data-focused career. I'll give an example. I mean, my bachelor's was in psychology, my master's was in epidemiology, but I kind of started in data management and worked my way up to data analysis. My next move, I want to move into the tech center more so than I am now. I'm in government, focused on people analytics. I know people who've specifically gone one route, self-teaching and learning. It takes a lot to do that. I couldn't say I'm someone who could do that, but really have focused, created a schedule, and have self-learned, project-based, practiced, and were able to curate an application material, for example, a resume around the self-learning, the projects that they did so that they could get into entry-level roles. One thing that I'll say is some things out there make it seem like it can be done overnight. It's definitely not an overnight success story. So it takes consistency in that. But self-paced learning is really challenging. It's not easy to do, right? And so I'm more of a live and virtual learner. And so if you are in an opportunity, right, again, going back to, we're talking about resources and databases and networking opportunities where you can potentially find funding, right, if it's not through your school or through your current job, to take live and virtual courses. I previously did a fellowship at CDC South Africa, and professional development was huge. I took so many data courses that made me, that I was actually able to, you know, like show that I could use those courses that I took, and then from there make me competitive for future positions that I applied to. So again, if you don't ask, you won't receive. So definitely explore your resources. There are many associations that even have workshops and scholarships so that you can get more live trainings that can be easier to learn, and you're kind of like there in person so you can retain that information. And of course, again, you know, there are a lot of, I would say there's information overload with getting into these fields. So people hear like tech and they're like, okay, I gotta be a data scientist. I have to be able to use Python and Java and R and every single program. But one thing that I say, especially I talk to a lot of people who are in the public health data space or trying to get into it, is really, you need to have foundational skills, right? You need to understand the data lifecycle, know where you want to fit in, right? Do you want to do more management, more machine learning, you know, descriptive analyses, more health programming in the context, research focus. And once you understand that, it'll help you tailor your learning so that you're not trying to just throw in every course that exists out in the interwebs, because like there's a trillion courses out there to learn data, but you can specifically focus on the ones that you need to build to get to the jobs of interest. So last thing I'll say, and this is kind of also like general career advice, is start looking at jobs. So say you're a student right now, you're maybe going to graduate in 2 years, but you're kind of like, I don't know what I want to do exactly. Hopefully you're able to get an internship or some learning opportunity, but start looking at job descriptions of interest, because that's where you'll start to see the gaps. Like I'm looking at, you know, job descriptions as roles I may want to do in the next year or two. Okay, I have these skills, but I really need to strengthen this or focus on this. And that can also help you tailor your learning so you're not just trying to do everything all the time, which is usually what people feel like they need to do when they are like, I want to be a data analyst, I want to work in tech, I want to start this field. It's like, I need to learn 7 programs and be proficient. But usually people are like really good at one and pretty good at maybe 2 others. But beyond just the software, they also understand the strategy and the life cycle and the processes, and have, again, those other skills that are important to like being in any job. So yeah, that's a bit about my thoughts on getting into the data field. And of course, moving back to networking, which is important because direct referrals are valuable in that industry and any industry really.
Got you. Talking about resources, for those who didn't know, AfriBlocks is a partnership with DataCamp. So our freelancers, if you go on AfriBlocks.com, you can literally register to get free training in AI, data science, and all those courses, like literally right now. Just thought I would add that. But what I always say is there are 2 things when you're building. There's the technical competency, which is, programming, accounting, whatever field you are in. And the other side is cultural competence, which gets me to my next question to Miles. I know you're doing amazing work. You're building a statue, a Marcus Garvey statue. You're always on the continent. You're always connecting, universities and things like that. So my question will be around what's the context with the African diaspora helping in the growth of Africa, the exponential growth of Africa financially and economically? What is the connect with Pan-Africanism and you working abroad and still being able to connect back with the continent?
Absolutely, great question. And I love this question as well. Well, I would say, number one, they're inexplicably linked. I would say in the first place, and one of the greatest showcases that we can now point to is the Ghanaian government's during 2019, the Year of Return program that they did, where they invited all the diaspora back. Hey, you're welcome, come home, engage. And since that time, I don't know the exact numbers, but there was a serious economic benefit to the Ghanaian economy. So that kind of sent off a flag, not only the countries in West Africa, but all over the African continent, that engagement with the diaspora, even if it is from a social level, does have economic benefit on the long term. So I think that when we talk about the diaspora, we're really talking about two diasporas, right? We're talking about the diaspora that came as part of the transatlantic slave trade. And then we're also talking about the diaspora where they're first or second generation immigrants from the African continent themselves. And so I think it's a thing of activating both of these populations towards the goal of development of the African continent, towards association of the African continent, to know that they have somewhere that they can really, whether it's to go be home, whether it's to go feel like they have a belonging, whether it's as simple as feeling like they're in the majority population. You don't know how many times I have seen people's eyes just light up their whole life feeling like they're the quote unquote minority. Then to get to a country like Ghana or Ethiopia and finally feel like, wow, you know, I'm in the majority population for the first time ever in my life, and I've never felt like what that has felt before. So I think there's a lot of different ways we could talk about it, but the main thing that I would uplift is that the engagement is important. Governments and people are moving to make this engagement happen. And really now with the internet, with the digital resources that we really have access to, whether we're talking about Twitter, whatever, it may not be Twitter any longer given recent news. but it might not be, but the point I'm making is that connection is really open now. And I think it's a personal responsibility on all of us to continue to build it and continue to develop it. And I think that all of us right now on this panel are doing that in our own kind of special way. And so I think we should, commend ourselves and then also just encourage everyone else watching to do so as well.
Got you. I think, our time is almost up, but I'm going to give, this is something that we've been doing, throughout the summit. Miles, you have 1 minute to let people know the next things they have to expect from you in TCU. And then Vannessa, you have your own minute to talk about Chilombo Global Career Services and what people need to expect within the next month, 2 months, and where to visit, what to sign up for if there's any.
Okay, excellent. So first thing I will say, so TCU is a partner with we're a committee member with the Marcus Garvey Bronze project. So I would just encourage everyone to support that project. Go to marcusgarveybronze.com and actually donate to the creation of this statue. Just as we were talking about the diaspora, this would be the first gift from the diaspora to the African Union, bringing the statue there. I really encourage that. Be on the lookout for our beta testing for the Portal app, and that's going to be connecting Black college students all over the world. And outside of that, I would just say, just continue, just push forward the best you can. I'm very optimistic, about the future that we're creating for ourselves.
Thank you, Vannessa.
Yes. And so for me, one thing that I'm really excited about is that we're launching our second year of is our Chilombo Scholars Program. So in short, we paired 5 Black-led nonprofits here in the US with 5 individuals of Black or African descent to get a paid public health experience. Again, emphasizing the paid because there's a lot of unpaid opportunities, and I could go on about the issues with inclusion and equity around that. And so this year we're fundraising for our second year. We've partnered with the Association for Black Researchers to push this to further get funding so that we can provide this program for another year and also for a wider range of nonprofits and scholars. So definitely just want to share more about that. And this is a program that's specifically US based, but we're hoping to expand as Chilombo is hoping to continue growing. Of course, we have our services, but we also provide a lot of resources and information. So whether you're trying to figure out how to craft that resume, right? Or, figuring out, okay, what am I looking for? What strategy do I really need to go about? we provide that information and resources and continue to do so. And another thing that I want to mention, and we've talked a lot about resources, is we have a job database on our website. So for anyone, wherever you are in the world, if you're interested in anything related to public health, international development, healthcare, and even higher education, we have over 150 sites, career websites listed on our website where you can find and access those. It's just another starting point for your job search. So yeah, for any of your job needs, career needs, or internships, feel free to reach out to me, Vannessa, and Chilombo Careers, and we're more than happy to guide you.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you coming on. Just so you know, this is what building looks like. Both Miles and Vannessa are supporters of AfriBlocks. They're sponsors of the Freelancer Summit 2022. And I just called like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, yeah, what do you need? So it goes back to that networking. It goes back to those professional relationships that, you need to start to build as an entrepreneur. And thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your support. And our audience does too. And, till next time, we hope to do this every year. And next year, this is something that I want to see you guys actually come this side and be available in person.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good. I'm due back for another trip to the continent. Just got back from Rwanda recently for work, but I need to come back.
Nice. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.